Still TV3 Newday. We apologize for the late start for paper review, but of course we're here. Our guests are seated and it's time for us to discuss very pertinent issues. We'll start off with the headlines in the papers. And so Daily Graphic says that Sibre Oti-Boateng joins ancestors, and he's the late Sibre Professor Emeritus Oti-Boateng Delmahene of the New Drabin traditional area in the eastern region. May his soul rest in peace. Chief Imam supports National Cathedral with 50,000 Ghana cedis, and he talks about unity in this case. Are you also going to be supporting the project with 100 Ghana cedis at least a month? Ghana North Rhine-Westphalia sign agreement. Okay, and Graphic Zoom Lion Sanitation Dialogue in Bono region today. And also Business and Financial Times. Private sector credit remains sluggish amid COVID-19, and that's a photo of Dr. Ernest Addison. He is the governor of the Bank of Ghana. Also, banking fraud cases hit 1 billion Ghana cedis in 2020. 56% of banking sector fraud aided by staff. Digital electronic related transactions fraud most worrying. And access after through Ghana. Government tells foreign investors. Pirates to get 15-year jail term. That's on page 5. And Growing Tomatoes tips for a healthy and fruitful plant. That is on page 12. Let's move on now to the Republic Press. And it says, Mohammed's boy threatens Gabi. Lawyer Godwin Edudi Tamaklo. He's a member of the legal team of the NDC. And also, Brian Champion supports Kwewu youth to acquire skills. And Chief Imam pays 50,000 Ghana cedis for the cathedral project. And well, they're hoping that at least 1 million Ghanaians should be able to contribute minimum 100 Ghana cedis, in fact, to support the project. And if that happens, within a year, we should be able to put up the cathedral. Now, Ghanaian Times, disaster looms. Thieves steal 50 kilometers railway tracks. An estimated $250 million lost. 10 arrested and 4 jailed. Africa-Europe relation must focus on trade investment, according to the president. And also, government labor unions must work to create conducive business, according to the vice president, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Greater Accra minister on warpath against indiscipline charges presiding members to stamp it out. And he says they're doing their best, but they also expect that, everyone else would also join in fighting this canker. The Ghanaian Observer, Bawumia shares Akufo-Addo's defining first-term legacies, and Akufo-Addo's German trip yields results as Ghana, North Rhine-Westphalia sign agreements for cooperation in 7 sectors. The MPP punches former President Mahama and says ex-president is the reigning king of corruption. Boost for domestic revenue as Bawumia announces mobile app for filing of taxes, and Chief Imam gives 50,000 Ghana cedis for National Cathedral project. Okay, so the Daily Guide, it says that National Chief Imam supports National Cathedral project with 50,000 Ghana cedis. Your reigning corruption king, NPP bites former President Mahama. And Abisim Cannibal caged. That's a photo of the man who's alleged to have committed those hideous crimes, and it is being investigated, also being arranged for court. And so it says that he has been remanded in custody by a Kaneshi magistrate court in Accra. And so that should be it for that. And then let's see which other one. So let's do the finder finally. And it says that Dr. Bawumia shares government's defining first-term legacies with ICU. NIC's new policy lands in court, and Mohammed's corruption record is unbeatable, according to John Bwedu. In the studios this morning, lawyer Abraham Amaliba, he's the lead for the legal team on the side of the NDC. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you
Bella.
doing?
I'm fine.
Yeah?
I'm fine.
I like your smoke.
Thanks.
It's colorful. And also this morning in the studios, we have Hussaini Issa. He's a former member of parliament for Okankwe North constituency. How are you doing as well?
Very well.
Everything okay? Okay.
We're grateful to God for
Yeah,
for
definitely.
His mercies.
Okay, well, let's quickly go in. We don't have much time, and so we'll start off with a conversation yesterday. And this is a statement that was put out by the minority in Parliament yesterday. They're asking for the teacher licensure exams to be suspended, and they're saying that it is retrogressive. So I'll just read a bit of the statement. It says that the attention of the minority NDC in Parliament has been drawn to a mass failure of candidates who sat for the recently conducted teacher licensure exams. The National Teaching Council, an agency under the Ministry of Education in 2018, introduced the teacher licensure exam aimed at licensing teachers who teach or want to teach in public pre-tertiary schools in the country. And it says The program of study for pre-tertiary teachers that leads to a license to teach shall be developed in consultation with the council as per the Constitution. In fact, the Education Act 2008, Act 778. However, minority is saying that, well, with the announcement that a number of the teachers failed the licensure exams, they think that it should be suspended and rather inculcated into the 4-year degree program of, the teachers, so that when they come out, they don't now have to write an exam before they are licensed. And I'll come to lawyer Abraham Amaliba first to tell me, what exactly went into this decision? Because I'll read a response from IFEST, and they are saying that they don't agree with a call to scrap it because it is giving us some level of quality and professionalism in the teaching space.
Let me start by saying good morning to your viewers. Let me extend my condolences to the people of New Javin for the loss of their great king, Nana Otibuatin. He was once the government statistician. He's a great chief. And I want to extend my condolences to the Bree family. Bella, it is true that we need quality teachers. We need to ensure that those who stand before our learners, our children, to teach are of a certain standard. And so it is important that we do all that we can to turn out teacher trainees who will become teachers and can meet the standards as we want. But this program, which says that after your completion, you come back home, then you are made to write an exam of this nature. And we have tested this before, and we've seen the rate of failure. Now, the minority, as you have just read, is not saying that we should not produce teachers who are of high quality. That's not what the minority is saying. The minority is saying that, why don't you factor these exams into their training session, their 4-year training session? Because whilst they are in school, their minds are tuned to learning. And so it should be part of their grade points so that when they come out of school, they will not be saddled with writing exams. Don't forget that when you come out of school, you now begin to be thinking about how to fend for yourself. And so you are no more studious as compared to if you are in the environment, the school environment. So what the minority is saying is that factor this exam into the 4-year program. I don't know why it's still 4 years.
Yeah.
Because we lawyers, when we are called to the bar, we don't write any other exam. All the exams is done when we are in school. And when you come out, you start practicing.
Okay. So
this is what the minority is saying. And I think that it makes sense. The IFS, I don't know what institution did you mention?
IFEST.
IFEST,
yes.
The IFS might not have understood what the minority is saying. The minority is not saying that scrap it, throw it away, don't test our students, our teachers, don't ensure that we have quality teachers. That's not what the minority is saying.
Is that not what you said ahead of the 2020 elections, that you were going to scrap it? Is that what you said?
This is what we said. We are going to scrap it. It will be part of the 4-year program.
Okay.
Because, you see, you have been in school before. We have all been in school. You notice that your mindset as a student is different from when you leave the 4 corners of the school.
But you're a teacher, and so it shouldn't be different because you're teaching
we
students.
Are getting,
and so you should constantly be learning.
We are getting high rates of failure. Aren't you interested in addressing it?
Which is why I want to understand, because, based on the the press statement that has been put out, it makes it look as if it is the teacher licensure exams that is leading to the failure.
Are we not talking about teacher licensure exams that
I get you.
Teachers are failing?
Yeah, but again, even if you add it to their 4-year course, if they're going to fail, will they still not fail?
No.
Have we tried to figure out what the reason for the failure is so that maybe we can improve upon that?
And I'm now giving you one of the reasons, which is when they leave the school environment, there are other competing needs, extracurricular activities that will not allow them to focus on learning to pass the exam. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Nobody's saying that we shouldn't produce high-quality students, teachers. We are all out for it. But when you do this, and my understanding is that when they fail the exam, they are not allowed to teach, isn't it? Good. Yet, tell me, between employing a teacher who has failed his licensure exam and then picking an SS student teaching in our rural areas, which of the two will you pick? There are schools which lack teachers, and sometimes the classes are merged, P1, P2, P3 put together, and you have not a qualified teacher, but an SS student teaching. We need this teacher in there, but because he has failed his licensure exam, he can't be in there. Is there a way we can avert these mass failures? There's a way we can avert it. How do we avert it? Add it to their curriculum within the system.
The education minister said that the NTC even lowered the pass mark, for the teacher licensure exams. They lowered it completely. And even that, we still had a number of these teachers, in fact, a higher number of them who wrote the May 2021 exams failing.
Bella, if you are outside, having left school, and you are thinking of how to get the to get food to eat, and you are traveling from one uncle to the other, how do you sit down and pass an exam even if the grades were lowered to 0?
We have workers who go and write exams for masters and all of that. I mean, this shouldn't be an excuse,
They are also in a school situation. They are also in a school situation. Are we interested in diagnosing what the problem is? I am telling you what one of the problems is. And you are not interested in listening to me.
I haven't said I'm not interested. I'm just asking questions.
You don't need to say it.
I'm just asking questions. But okay.
I am saying
land
that.
on this for me
I
so
am
I
saying
can
that no matter how you lower the grade. No matter how you lower the grade.
That's supposed to address this problem because again, if maybe these teachers, like you're saying, have other pressing needs and so they cannot fully concentrate, the NTC said they lowered the pass mark. They lowered it and still these teachers failed.
If you give a wrong treatment to an ailment, you won't get recovery.
Okay.
You hear me? So, the lowering of the grade is not the answer to it. The answer is, why? Is it rocket science? Okay, why is it difficult? Why is it difficult? Tell me. For them to put it in their 4-year curriculum whilst they are in school. What would they lose? All right. What would the EGES lose?
Let me bring Fuseni in so he can respond to this because, a number of teachers have also complained about the time spent. Already you're spending 4 years in school to get a degree. Now, during this 4-year term, you also go out there to teach because that's also part of the grading system. After that, you come out, after writing your degree exams, you come out and you are expected to write a 6-hour licensure exam and then do national service as well. Is this not too long a process? And like Minority is saying, if we should take the licensure exam and include it into the 4-year curriculum, would that not be better for the teacher?
Thank you, Bella, and a good morning to you again. A good morning to my brother, Amaliba. I have to say a very good morning to the people of Okankwe North as well, for whom I had the privilege to represent in Parliament a while ago. Some of the projects we started are still ongoing, and I promise the people of Akutema that this morning or latest by Monday, the asphalt overlay that we started in Akutema will be continued. So they should watch out for the contractor. They should cooperate with the contractor for the roads to be done.
Carry on.
Talking about teacher licensure, Bella, I am a professional. I'm a chartered accountant of 20 years standard. And every year, as a member of the ACCA, to be able to hold myself as a member, I need to do what we call CPD, Continuous Professional Development. And this has to be at least 21 hours in a year. That is verifiable. And if I'm unable to show that evidence to the association that I have actually within the year undertaken or accumulated that point, I will not be able, my license or my membership of the association will not be renewed. And I have been doing this for 20 years. The minority, I think, are doing much ado about nothing.
Why do you say so?
I'm saying so because the minority, to my understanding, is asking us to scrap it because the teachers are failing the exams.
Is that not a fair
These are teachers.
call to make?
For God's sake, these are teachers. These are the people we entrust the future of our children. And in fact, the future of this nation lies in the hands of teachers. Because the quality of the products they churn out has a direct impact on how this nation proceeds from where we are. The quality, it's a direct impact on how this nation will proceed from the point that we find ourselves at this point. And if teachers do not want to write exams to be licensed,
They haven't said they don't want to write exams to be licensed.
No.
But the call is for the licensure exams to be made a part of the 4-year course.
Why should it? All professions have some standards. My brother here is a lawyer. He knows. I think on Monday or some a couple of days ago, thousands of people, Ghanaians, went to write exams to seek entrance into Ghana Law School.
No,
he himself is going through the process.
But you write all your exams.
Oh, when you were speaking, I was very patient. I never made a point.
Misinforming people.
I never made a point.
Since he's in that profession,
Yes.
which is why he's trying to correct whatever.
So I
misinformation
started by referring to CPD,
Yeah,
and
that's
I
your
am
area.
sure
But you are
that even lawyers in Ghana will have to meet some professional.
They write a
standards
final
before.
exam.
We do it in the school. Everything in school.
You do it in school, but I have stated what accountants.
So don't come to
Yeah,
that
but
area.
then
I
after
am an
that, they
accountant.
don't go and write another exam before
Don't
they're
come
called
to
to
that
the bar.
It is. Why don't you want to write an exam? Before I became a chartered accountant, I was holding a BSc in administration accounting from University of Ghana. But you can hold yourself as an accountant
Until you write.
until you write
licensure
16 papers through ACCA. Then, now I'm not too sure the number of papers that they write. To become a chartered accountant. Else, those holding LLB from University of Ghana or GIMPA or any other institution could hold themselves as lawyers. But you need to meet the professional requirement to be able to hold yourself up as a lawyer, as an accountant, as an architect. There are standards in these professions. And if we let our guard down and churn out half-baked teachers who are not capable, teachers who are themselves afraid of examinations, it is dangerous for this nation.
Have we done any
What
study?
I'm saying is that
show
if the
how
minority,
the licensure exams may have impacted the quality of education over the years that we introduced it. This was introduced in 2018.
that is why I started by giving an example of myself and my profession and my association and what pertains. That is how we have been able to hold quality, even in ethics.
But we
Even in
should see
ethics.
the effect. And in the education profession, are we seeing the impact of this on the quality of education in the country?
Impact of such policies will not happen overnight. They started in 2018. Let us give ourselves How many times have they written? Just twice?
So how long should we give ourselves?
I won't be able to sit here and say let's assess this after 5 years or. Let's look at what pertains in other professions and how they have been able to hold quality over time. I think that this policy is novel. I think that we should support and all stakeholders should be able to make impact and make contributions as to how to sustain this in the interest of both teachers and the NTC and all the stakeholders. But to say that it should be scrapped just because the failure rate is high. If the failure rate is high, it means that there is something fundamentally wrong.
Is that what it is, or is it because we have a backlog?
But it's very obvious.
We have a backlog of teachers to employ, which is why we found a way.
I don't think so.
To get them to write exams so that
I don't think so. If the failure rate of teachers, if the failure rate of teachers seeking to be licensed to go to the classroom to teach is that high, it means that there's something fundamentally wrong. We probably will have to go back to their training.
But we were training them already, and they were passing these exams.
Exactly. It meant that we were training them. But this has exposed us. This has actually made us aware that there might be something wrong with the type of training they are getting.
So this is not a backlog issue.
I don't think it's a backlog issue. I think it's something in the right direction. It's something ensuring that the people that we entrust the future of this nation are up and doing and are capable of doing this. Look, there's something that I have wondered. If you go to we are talking pre-tertiary, the preparatory schools, they have untrained teachers. When my brother refers to an SS person who is a non-trained teacher teaching relative to a trained teacher, I said, look, our public schools have trained teachers. The preparatory schools, the private schools, most of the teachers there are not trained.
Are they not doing better than the private
That is the irony. That is the irony.
So does that then not suggest that maybe the licensure exam does not necessarily determine the quality?
It is one of the ways by which we want to improve the quality of the teacher in a public school.
No,
it is one of the ways.
We're talking about private
to
schools
make sure that
there are some SS leavers who are teachers in some of these private schools. There are teachers who
and they are doing much
not
better.
Necessarily professional. They're doing better.
They are doing much better.
So what does it say about the licensure exam? It's not the level. The measure of the level of quality in the country?
So then what we need to do is to assess the quality of the teacher in the public school.
And the exam is how we assess it?
How else? It is one of the measures. Maybe it's motivation, maybe it's the quality, maybe the thing that you're in the your public sector, so your assessment and all of that, it's not, it could be a plethora of issues. And one of this is to ensure that, look, before you get in there, you are up to a certain level. What is wrong with it?
There are teachers who have written the licensure exams. They've done their national service. They are still not posted.
It is not about a licensure. We know about the public sector and the issue with the employment and all of that. It is beside the point.
No,
what we are talking now.
If you're telling me that I have to write the licensure exam because that is my sure guarantee of getting a job or a posting, then I am seen as a professional and I have my license. Yet I do all that and I'm still home after 2 years.
When I left university and I decided to pursue professional qualification in accountancy, the accountancy body did not guarantee me a job after qualification. So it is not because of licensure that is why they are unemployed. No, I don't see the relation between the two. If they are not employed for other factors, fine. But to say that because teachers are failing, we should stop the licensure exam, I think it's much about.
We should inculcate it into the
I think that a minority are behaving like a Kufrimpong. They are almost the assembly and yes.
My colleague here would argue and at the end of the day shoot himself in the foot. He made comparisons between private schools employing teachers who are not professionals and yet they do better. They are not professionals. They are not professional teachers, and yet they perform better than those who are trained to teach in our public schools. That's a defeat, an own goal, because those who are non-professionals and are teaching and their students are doing well never wrote any licensure exams. So what then tells you about your licensure exams? What does it tell you about it?
So those who
it tells you that
students
it is not well, it is not the licensure exams. It is not the licensure exams that would make a teacher give out his best. There are other factors. There are other factors like lack of supervision. And in this country, people do what you inspect, not what you expect. So if the supervision is poor, definitely the teacher will definitely not give out his best, as compared to where there's strong supervision when the private man wants his profit and ensures that, look, you must perform so that I'll get more people come to my school. So that one is about maybe other factors which in the public sector we don't adhere to. But I don't want us to live here, and I'm happy you corrected him at the end of the day. I don't want us to live here with the impression that the minority is saying that scrap it, don't apply it any longer. What the minority, that's what you'll be saying. What the minority is saying is that include it into their 4-year program. And for me, how difficult is this? Why will you kick against it? Okay. Why will you kick against it?
Maybe the training in Mokola should be done at the University of Ghana. So
why?
Is it surprising that, again, the education minister says that the majority of the candidates who sat for the exams as first-time sitters failed, but some graduate instructors who resat for the exam were able to pass? He says that the first-time sitters of the exams failed. Majority of them failed. But then the graduate instructors who resat for the exam were able to pass. So he says about 78% were able to pass 2 out of the 3 subjects. But if you look at those who passed all the 3 for the first time, it's just about 23%. So then he's saying that for people who sat the first time and failed, it's when they come back and resit that they pass. But for first-timers, they fail the exam. Majority of them fail. Is it surprising that we're seeing that?
No, that's normal. That's normal. Look, I had two lawyers. You know, they were arguing in court. Then one said that, look, you failed in commercial law. You failed in commercial law. So what are you trying to tell me? Then the other said that because I failed and did it twice, I know it better than you. The one who failed.
That's not scientific, though.
Because he did it twice. He read the course twice. He knows it's better than the one who just passed at once. So that was his response to the one who was taunting him. Once you sat for the first one and you failed, definitely, your second attempt, you either be more serious or you've had a taste of the exams and you know the trend and you know how the exams is being set, and so now you'll be more prepared. And that's why most students pass the NOVEC when they fail the real exams. Then they come and write the NOVEC, they pass. So once you have the opportunity of rewriting it, if you're a smart guy, you definitely pass. So I'm not surprised.
But if they have other needs outside of, you know, and you said earlier that when they come out of school, they are not able to learn as well as when they're in school.
Human factor. Reality has now dawned on the person that, do I need to fail again and I'll be disgraced? So what that person now does is to deny himself of other pleasures or other things that he thinks will not help him. And now will now focus. This is human behavior. And so to have reciters passing and the rate is higher than when they sat at the first instance, it's a normal thing. It does happen.
Okay. Well, let's move on. We're still talking about education, by the way, but yesterday the Director General of the Ghana Education Service spoke to the media, and he says that the textbooks for the standard-based curriculum for pupils will be made available to students during the next academic term in January next year. And like I said, this was at a news conference in Accra. So Director General Professor Kwesi Opoku-Amankwa noted that teachers have been sufficiently trained to augment effective teaching and learning. Let's take a look at what he said.
The new curriculum was designed in 2019 as part of the learning experiences necessary to equip pupils and students for higher education. However, the delay in making textbooks available has been of growing concern as the academic year is almost ending. 3 pre-tertiary education teacher unions who are livid over the lack of teaching and learning resources have threatened a strike by close of September if their concerns are not addressed. But the director of the Ghana Education Service, Professor Kwesi Opoku-Amankwa, admitting to the delay in procuring the textbooks, indicated that the books will be available at the beginning of the next academic term in January 2022.
We admit that it has delayed, but we also knew that it was going to delay because the processes for developing the books, going through to approval and recommendation, and then the procurement process itself takes a while. So in anticipation of that, we trained the 150,000 plus teachers, we provided teachers resource pack to them. And it is our expectation that they will be using those materials in their teaching.
He further debunked claims of long working and contact hours raised by the aggrieved teachers.
They are not doing more than they should be doing. But if for any reason they are doing more than that, we want to assure you that at the time that we were drawing the calendar, especially for when the COVID broke, we had extensive discussions with stakeholders, and they were key stakeholders in those discussions, and we agreed.
Mankwa, he's the Director General of the Ghana Education Service. He says that they've always known that the textbooks were going to delay. However, you know, GS had mentioned that the new curriculum textbooks would be ready in January this year. In fact, let me read it. So the Ghana Education Service has said that textbooks on the new standard-based curriculum for kindergarten and primary schools will be ready by January 2021. And they said this at a meeting with the national leadership of the Conference of Heads of Basic Schools held at its headquarters prior to the October 5, 2020 reopening of schools for Form 2 JHS and SHS students. But they said that the books for primary school and kindergarten would have been ready in January 2021. However, now we're hearing the Director General say that they knew that it was going to delay. So which is which? I mean, how do you tell us that textbooks will be ready in January this year? It's been 2 years since the new curriculum was introduced. And yet now we're being told that we knew it was going to delay because of procurement processes, etc.
Am I supposed
Yes, I'm starting with you to say. I'm asking you because it is your government that is in power, your party that's in power. Anyway.
Oh, interesting. I must say that I am actually happy that the Director General and his team are actually addressing the issues before they get out of hand. Once the teacher groups have started some agitations and given deadlines for some actions, it's important that the issues are addressed and they are engaged and apprised on the processes and where we are to avert any unwanted or any unfortunate situations. But like the Director General said, I think that there's very little to add to what he said. In anticipation, you know, we are not in normal times and everything's have delayed. In fact, manufacturing plants across the world, lack of chips, and making even car production, computers, phones across the world, because chip production it's in short supply. It's in short supply. All this could be related to the times in which we find ourselves. Now, this morning we are in a studio, we are wearing masks and all of that. It's the time that we find ourselves in. I'm not holding short for this, but he's actually given the way forward. He's actually given strict deadlines, and I'm sure that we will be able to hold him and his team.
But they gave us a deadline for January 2021.
That's why Bella.
Trust that
that's why Bella. I'm saying Bella that we find ourselves in times that things are not too normal. But in things not being too normal, they also anticipated, like he said, that they could hit some snags along the way of implementing the policy. And so they had prepared by making sure that at least the teachers were adequately trained, the teacher packs were ready, and so the curriculum could actually take off. If the teacher is ready and knows actually what instructions he should be able, and he should be able to give to the people. So I'm sure that we are ready to take off whilst we wait for them. It's not like us finding ourselves in a vacuum where there are no supplementary readers that the students could actually use or they are not available.
But the students did not have access to these textbooks because teachers were relying on
that's why I'm making.
Now, we said that
I'm making reference that when this policy
we said that students were going to have access to these textbooks.
Sure.
We're hoping that every student will have access to these textbooks. Now, this new curriculum said we were going to have the Montessori style of education even in our public schools. And so these students,
now when I go to the public school, I find the sitting arrangement has changed.
How has it changed? With what kind of desk?
As a last year, They don't sit traditionally like we used to sit, where we all face the teachers. Now there is some a level of interaction even among the pupils in the class.
Have this?
Oh,
because we've done reports
the public
on
schools, the public schools in my, I can give you a number of schools
to be able to share among
I
themselves.
can give you a number of schools that if you take your cameras there, you see the sitting arrangement is changing. I mean, it's a process. It's a policy.
Textbooks?
With what textbooks?
Because
That's what I'm saying.
Has the resource pack.
That is the teacher has a resource pack. The resource pack is even better than the textbook. But I am not holding
How
brief
is
for
it
the
better than the textbook?
because it gives further instructions as to what is expected of the teacher. It goes beyond the textbook. But the not
students
availability.
do not have the textbooks.
That's what I'm saying. That in the meantime, the teacher has what it takes to instruct the pupils. In the meantime, there are supplementary readers, because this policies don't just limit the students to the textbooks. It's unfortunate that it's delayed, but it's good that at least we know where we are going from this point. It's good that the GS is addressing the issue. I have sat in this studio and addressed this issue a number of times, and I'm sure that there's a way forward. And January is just the next academic year, and I'm sure that we can hold Prof.
We've
and
lost
these people.
2 years.
We have not lost two years of non-instruction. In fact, COVID took the whole of 2020 away. 2020, I mean, how many times did the pupils go to school? My kids were home for practically a whole year. That is also not the reason why this textbook should not be ready. But I am sure that we can hold the GES and Prof and his team to their new demands.
Lawyer, what do you say about this?
Bella.
Because, again, 2 years, we were expecting these textbooks in January this year. It didn't come, and now we're told that we should expect it next January.
These MPP people, I'm sure some of them.
Oh, but that is not a fair.
If I'm sure some of them, if they are on,
don't say that.
Why? You are now run away from being an MPP person. If some of them cannot impregnate their wives, they will blame COVID for it. Everything, COVID. Oh. When other countries are moving on, look, if the non-availability. Let me make my point. Do you know that if the non-availability of textbooks were a licensure exam, the director would have failed Portugal? Do you know that?
How?
What is how? See, he is telling the whole Ghana and all of us listening to him that they knew all along, when they changed the curriculum, that the production of textbooks will take some time. So you knew that you were going to face this challenge, and yet you kept our learners in that situation.
So they prepared the teachers.
You get my point? You knew that you were not going to provide textbooks,
they made sure,
and yet you changed the curriculum for the whole of 2 years, and there were no textbooks.
No, they made sure the teachers were ready.
Now,
and the teacher packs
you
were
ask him.
The teachers were
how
actually
were
trained.
Hold on, please.
You ask him how were the students being taught. I've heard him say supplementary text, whatever. What it means is that one teacher will be teaching something different from another teacher.
No.
And
but
so
they gave them the resource packs, and so that is what they're supposed to rely on to teach.
Yes, but the textbooks will now narrow you down to what you are supposed to tell the students.
But the resource pack gives you a guide too.
No, your guide, yes, is broad.
It's even detailed.
It's broad.
Is that not more detailed than
No.
the textbook?
You don't understand. So, in school A, if the textbooks were there, they will all students throughout the country will be on one page in accordance with what the topic is about. So that's why sometimes in our days when you come home, you say, did you do demand in economics? Then you say, yes, we even elasticity of demand. It is this and this. Then we all say, yeah, it is like that. Because we are all on one page. So without the textbooks, you had disjointed teaching. Students in different schools will be imbibing different theories and thoughts. That is how they brought our students to. For the 2 years that there was no textbook. If that were not a problem, if textbooks were not a problem, why are you producing them now? Then let us continue with the way the situation is.
But that is why they provided something in the interim.
I'm saying that the lack of the textbooks too is a problem. When I'm making my submission, you should get the import of. I'm saying
I get you,
the
but
lack
I'm
of
just
it,
saying
the lack
that
of it too is a problem.
It is, but the
Yes.
Director General is saying that is why we train the teachers and we also provided the starter packs. Resource packs, pardon me.
So which one comes first?
The resource pack comes first. Because the teacher has to be ready.
You train the teachers
The teacher
when
has
there's
to be
no
ready.
textbook.
The teacher has to be ready.
Where there's no
Zeni,
textbook.
hold on, please.
There's no textbook. After you train him, he comes home and he comes to the classroom. There's no textbook. He teaches, applying his own knowledge. Another teacher teaches, apply his own knowledge. Is that the kind of disjointed teaching you want? So the textbooks, the lack of it, had an impact on our students. So that's why I'm saying that it is wrong for him as a director of education to say that even though we changed the curriculum 2 years ago, we still knew that the textbooks were not going to be ready.
Practically, it's 2 years.
So for me, that is a dereliction of duty.
And so we should have held on with the introduction of the new curriculum.
Exactly. So that when you are ready, you don't give that kind of time span where students will be without textbooks. We are talking about textbooks here. If textbooks are not necessary, then we don't need to introduce it in our curriculum.
Okay.
But because it's necessary and it has a role to play in the teaching of our students, in the teaching learning process, that is why we are talking about it today. And so if we are talking about it today, and if something is gone wrong, let's hold those accountable. That's how come the GS is so holding teachers accountable. And I don't want it to look like if you are in a higher position, you can virtually kill and walk away. And those at the bottom, you can be holding them accountable. You too, you director, you have, in your negligence, also caused the fact that students were learning for 2 years without textbooks.
All right, well, just a little time to go, but let me quickly just dovetail into this press conference that was held by the NPP yesterday, where they referred to former President John Dramani Mahama as the reigning king of corruption. And so it says, speaking at the press conference at the party's headquarters in Accra on Thursday, the General Secretary, Mr. John Boydu, indicated that Mr. Mahama has no moral justification to talk about corruption, let alone accuse the ruling party of the canker. Now, he says that former President Mahama says without proof that the NPP has stolen Ghana's money and that he can ensure accountability through elections. Extremely rich, coming from a party credited by the Supreme Court of Ghana with the ability to create, loot and share public funds with impunity. And that's what Mr. John Boydu said. And then he named some alleged corrupt deals under the Mahama government. So he says that is Mahama of government official one infamy and the Ford vehicle from Kanazo contractors talking about corruption. Is that the same Mahama whose government signed onto a half-baked contract of 1.2 billion of the Ghana retail payments infrastructure? Symptom Switch Systems Limited have just lost an arbitration demand of $478 million from Ghana for revoking that agreement. The Akufo-Addo administration did a far more enhanced project for only $4.5 million US dollars. Fuseni, I'll come to you, but I just want to get a response from lawyer on this, accusation that was made.
You see, the MPP and their leadership simply are incapable of gauging the mood of the nation. They are simply not able to understand the way Ghanaians feel now. These accusations, didn't you hear them since time immemorial from 2012 throughout? These are rehashed allegations. In any case, they've been in office for 5 years. Why are they not prosecuting former President Mahama? They have been in office. So for me, they are doing their party people a great disservice because they simply do not understand the mood of the nation. Indeed, ever since President Mahama went on his thank you tour, the MPP has been in sixes and sevens. Very confused. The last but one press conference they held, addressed by Yabuabe, you saw how they insulted the intelligence of the people of this country. That when you go to the pumps and the prices are high, it's not really the prices are high, it's Mahama who is saying that it's high.
How?
So the hardship in this country, you heard him, Yabawe, is former President Mahama who is, telling the people of this country, creating that picture. But that individuals, we sitting here, do not know that there are hardship. That was an insult to the people of this country. I'm not surprised that they had to change him this time around and brought in their general secretary. But he too engaged in some warped legal analysis, warped arguments.
But with the issues that he raised, these are issues that
No,
happen.
I am saying that why? I've answered that question. Prosecute him. The next one is, we have corruption under this administration. Why? This president was sitting close to people and taking $100,000 cash for seats. Cash for seats.
He was collecting the money.
Yes.
He wasn't collecting the money himself.
But people were collecting it for him.
Lawyer.
Himself.
I mean,
People were collecting it for him.
I think
what are you talking?
Cash for
information if you
seats.
say that the president was
Cash
collecting
for
the money,
seats.
because we all know
Cash for seats.
that he was not the one.
Yeah, but they collected it on his
Lawyer.
behalf. That if you start close to
Lawyer.
him, you will pay $100,000. This is cash for seats.
Okay.
We saw the president collecting money
Okay.
in the video with hands.
So
two
what?
hands, like a goalkeeper.
So what?
So that he could retain somebody in the position. We saw all those things.
The
Okay.
president.
Let me just let Fuseni respond to this quickly so we can
You're
go.
going to be held for what you said this morning.
We've been counted down.
Coming from former President John Dramani Mahama, like our General Secretary, it's very rich. For a man who is tagged as government official one, for a man who is proven took a Ford vehicle from Kanazoi, and for what we are going through this substance switch, coming from former President John Dramani Mahama, accusing somebody of corruption in this country, it is very rich. But I can promise the NDC and their ilk that the wheels of justice grind slowly. Recently, when the Saklimic issue came up, now they are running for cover. Now they are alleging witch hunting. When you start arresting them, I can assure them, I trust in the ability of the Attorney General. I trust in the ability of Government Dame.
Okay.
And we should be watching out for the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
In finishing up, I tell the people of Abofu that the contractor is here.
Give him
Because
a
I
bit.
see that
Okay,
I'm
okay.
having-
All
So
right.
that
We
is
have to
not
go.
just Akotema,
Give him
but the
a bit.
We have
people
to
of
go.
Abofu
We
are
have
also
to go.
going to get their fair share.
All right. Thank you so much.